yourself. And so many people often feel like buying a home is difficult. You don't know where to start. So I am here to give you a few steps that can guide you. And at the end of this, definitely go to the back table, scan the QR code, and I have a home buying resource guide with a lot of great information that you can have. So let's start. So one of the first steps you need to do is to partner with a professional real estate agent. Why would you partner with a professional real estate agent? You're partnering with a real estate agent, one, because they're going to guide you and give you the insight that you need as you're going through the process of buying your home. They're also going to connect you with a lot of vendor partners that you'll hear about as I continue down this process, because that is important to you to get to the closing table. One of the main partners they're going to connect you with is a lender if you don't have one. Having a lender is important because you need to go ahead and get pre-approved so you'll know what you're searching for, what your budget looks like. That's extremely important. You're also going to sign what's called an agreement. That means you're going to hire an agent so that they can walk you through, as I said, getting this house and getting you to the closing table. So now, once you partner with a real estate agent, you are going to get pre-approved, as I mentioned. And we have an amazing lender partner right here next to me. And Julie, she is an amazing lender. So you definitely need to be connected with a lender because they're going to tell you what programs you may qualify for, how much you may need to put down when it comes to your down payment or not, because there are some programs where there's zero down. They're going to tell you like what your monthly would look like because that's really what most people are asking. They want to know how much is this going to cost me a month. And I know you hear people talk about interest rates. Really, interest rates aren't the most important thing. What's most important is what you can afford each month. And so that's what a lender is going to do for you. Also, getting pre-approved lets the seller know once you find that house, lets the seller know that you are serious because you've taken those steps and this is what you're pre-approved for. So that is why getting pre-approved is extremely important. I know often we see on HGTV that they just go searching for houses and call the agent and want to take it. It doesn't really work like that. Yes, we want to make sure that you're pre-approved before we take you to see a house. After we've done that, we talk about I call your buyer needs analysis. What is that, you may ask? Well, the agent is going to ask you what you need in this house and what you want in the house. And those things are very important because after you talk about those things, she is going to send you, or he is going to send you a list of homes that fit your criteria. It is going to be based on what you're approved for, and it's also going to be based on your needs and your wants. And so once you get those, then you can like select like a heart. When I send those out, you can heart them so I know the ones that you like. And then you can make comments, and then we can set up times to go see those homes. And just like other agents, they do the same thing. And then we'll go to those houses. I will print a form out so that when we go look at it, based on your needs and wants, we'll compare to see if this house is the one you want. Because remember, we're out shopping to buy a home. We're not sightseeing, right? So that is very important. One big thing I want us to know, because sometimes first time home buyers, like the most of us, we want the world. But what we have to remember is we're never going to get the world. So when you're getting a house, 80%, 70 to 80% should be what you need. 10% can be what you can live without, and the other 10% can be what, oh, I can fix that up later. And if you keep that in mind, I think that'll help you in searching and buying your home. The next thing that you'll do is after you go find that home and you're getting ready to put in an offer on it, as a real estate agent, she's going to look at the market in that neighborhood. She's going to look to see what those homes cost in that neighborhood. She's going to make sure that the value is increasing in those homes before you put in an offer. And then you and that agent will discuss how much do you want to offer on this home. Now, I'm going to take a step back here. If you really like this home and you want to put in a full price offer in or go higher, then you definitely let that agent know. But the agent should let you know what the value is and what the homes are going for, and you make that decision, not them tell you what to do. Because remember, you hired us, we work for you. Also, what I want to tell you, and when you're making your offer, we're going to put down what's called earnest money. Earnest money is usually like 1%, and that goes along with that pre approval. That earnest money tells the lets you put a little bit down, but you also will move to what's called, after you make it that offer, if you and the seller accepts the terms of the offer, we now move to what's called due diligence period. Most of the time, due diligence can be 5 to 7 days. But if it's a hot market, your agent may say, hey, look, we only gonna do 3 days because we're serious. Now, what is due diligence? I call that the free look period. Due diligence simply means that you have whatever that time frame is, let's say 5 days. You and your buyer, you've submitted earnest money. You go in and you hire an inspector, so the buyer has to pay for an inspector, generally about $350, but it is based on the square footage of your home. So it's not a flat rate of $350 for everyone. So now the inspector comes out and I like to say, lift the hood up in the home, and they're gonna make sure everything works, from the light switches to the major appliances, the HVAC, the water heater, the plumbing, the roof, and the foundation. But they're gonna look to see if the ceiling fan is working, if the outlets are working, so much, and you're gonna get a huge report. And so then you and the agent will look at the report. But as the buyer, you tell the agent what you want fixed, negotiated, or what you can live without. And then the agent goes back to the other agent to negotiate those items. Sometimes the seller will agree to fix them all. Sometimes the seller will agree to just give you money at closing costs and say, you fix it. And sometimes the sellers won't do anything. So just know that during this process, it's going to be a negotiation through just about the entire process at times. So now we've already gone through the due diligence. You and the seller has decided on what you're going to do. So now we're moving forward. The next step is obtaining funding. We're going back to the lender. So this lender at this point is going to ask you for more W-2s, and Julie's probably going to add, she may add a little bit more to this, but they may ask you about, you will have to give more W-2s to make sure that you're still working there. Their bank statements to make sure that you haven't gone and bought any furniture and done something crazy with the money that was in your bank, okay? Making sure you have not deposited any cash, because you cannot do that if you want to get a house. Money has to be traced, okay? And so they're just double checking, crossing their I's, dotting their T's, going through what's called underwriting. Now, also at this point, we're looking for what's called a clear to close. That means you're good to go. We're moving. At this point, we're going to now go back to the house. We want to make sure if you had things that need to be fixed, making sure those have been done. We're going to make sure that the house still looks like it is, make sure it's still clean like it was, make sure there's nothing broken before you get your keys. Because after you get your keys, we're no longer talking to the seller, it's yours, right? And so that is what I like to call our pre-closing. You'll also get documents from the attorney, making sure you filled out your information as it relates to them. Because the attorney here in Georgia, they're the ones who does the title work and closes on our homes. So the attorney will be reaching out to you as well, just making sure you have all the documents signed and everything. And then when we get that, as I said, that cleared close, we get excited because now you're getting ready to go to what we call the closing table. The attorney will reach out to you a couple of days and say, hey, I need you to wire X amount of dollars. That information will come from the lender of what you will need to send to them, so you'll know that early on. And then you go, you sign the rest of your documents at that closing table, and you get your keys and you have your home. So what I'm going to say to you is, as a first-time home buyer, you're probably sitting there thinking, oh my God, that is a lot. And I'll be honest with you, it is a lot. But what I will tell you, if you hire a professional real estate agent, they're going to walk you through the process, you're going to be comfortable, and they're going to be by your side. So that's all